What's up, YouTube, and welcome to my video of pickups for the month of January 2017. I'm going to go ahead and start this off by saying this is probably the smallest pickups video you will ever see on this channel. I don't know what was going on this month, but the stores around me were especially wiped, and I didn't really do a whole lot of travel this month, so pickups were not very plentiful this month, and really hoping once the weather starts to warm up a little bit, that'll change. So that said, let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to start off with a couple Sega CD games I got this month, and this is something that I don't usually find these too often, so I like to jump on them whenever I can find them. First one of these is Samurai Showdown. This game got ported to many consoles, but I rarely see the Sega CD version. Not really sure how good it is, but I do like the full-size artwork that you get with this version, and very nice, looking package if nothing else. I noticed this is one of the games that was published by JVC for the Sega CD, and it seems like some of their games are the more difficult ones to get. Fatal Fury Special is a very tough one to find. I haven't had a chance to find that anywhere yet, so nice to get this one, and just another Sega CD game to add off my list. Next game I got is another oddball Sega CD game, and this is Mega Race. I did play this one a little bit. It is super bizarre and dated. I think this had its roots as a PC game and maybe even a 3DO game. It's some futuristic racing game with a really annoying announcer that talks for like 5 minutes before you even jump into a race, and basically is encouraging you to murder the other racers or something like that. It's a really convoluted story, very weird game, and very poor gameplay once you actually get to the racing. But noticing this one's getting a little more difficult to find, so I was happy to find it locally and, at least check it out. Next I'll talk about the PS1, which, as you know, is my #1 focus over the last few months. This month, just like all these other games, was a very weak month for PS1 finds, but I did get a few things I was looking for off my list. So one thing I got that I very rarely see, and was surprised to find this in damn near mint condition, is Discworld 2. This is one of the point-and-click games that has voices by Eric Idle in it, and I also have the first Discworld game, which was a big box game, already, so looking forward to checking this out at some point. Don't see this game very often, and especially not in this nice a shape, so very happy to get that. I got one game that was the last SNK published game, I believe, that I needed for the system, and that is King of Fighters 95. This is actually one of the easier ones to find. It's just one I never happened to pick up. I'm sure this port is not very great compared to some of the other versions of this game you can get, but just really wanted the PS1 version, and I kind of like the artwork on it too, so nice to get that. If you've been watching my videos, you know I'm trying to collect the full set of Black Label jewel case releases. I'm getting very close. I believe I need 7 more to have the set. I only found one, though, this month, and that is Destruction Derby. This game, I used to think I saw this jewel case version like all the time, that this wasn't going to be a big challenge at all, but this one caused me a lot of trouble to find, and ultimately ended up getting a copy off eBay. It seems like this is also starting to shoot up in price a little bit too, so wasn't really a huge fan of this game when it came out. I remember renting it back then, and maybe I'll give it another shot now, but I don't really expect too much. I did get one PlayStation import this month. This was a game that I'd kind of forgotten existed and doesn't really seem to come up for sale too often, and that is Kitchen Panic. This is a 2D platformer, and you star as a potato, working your way through a dangerous kitchen of obstacles. It's somewhat like Panic Restaurant in a way, and, again, you get to play as a potato. It's pretty fun. The graphics are nicely drawn, although the levels don't really have a whole lot of variation. I mean, you're pretty much in the kitchen for everything. The one thing I'll say it's a little annoying is there's like this double jump ricochet move that you pretty much have to master to get through some of the upper stages in it. But it does have some very nice, pretty 2D graphics, and very long stages, I will also add. They're also set up with multiple branching paths, much like the early Sonic games, and very unusual release. This game was published by Panther Software, and I believe this is pretty much the only 2D game they ever made. Most of the stuff they did was like 3D mech releases. So if you're interested, this game is one of the kind of unheralded imports that definitely didn't come out here, and worth a look if you're interested. Talk about a couple Genesis games I got this month. The first one of these was one that I thought might actually be good, because I'm noticing that a lot of the games by Time Warner Interactive are actually Japanese developed. This one was not, though, however, and this is Generations Lost. You have that Fabio looking cover on there that I'm not really sure if that helps sell this game or not, but very clunky controlling late release game for the Genesis. Tried to do probably a little too much graphically for its own good, and I would not recommend this one, but I've been looking for it for a while, unfortunately, and it was a little bit disappointing. So the only other Genesis game I got this month is another game that I'd probably seen at stores multiple times and ignored. I didn't really think this was something that I wanted to play, but then I realized, or I found a video that claimed this was one of the best run and guns on the Genesis, so I was very surprised by that. That is Dinosaurs for Hire. This is based on some comic book, I believe, that was probably not a huge hit. It is a pretty fun run and gun, I will say that. It does get incredibly difficult, and it has some, like, I don't know, a little bit cheap level design, but other than that, I would recommend it. I thought it was pretty fun, and, you know, overall, like, it's not going to hold up to Gunstar Heroes or Contra or something like that on the Genesis, but definitely worth getting if you're getting, you know, if you already have some of those out of the way in your collection. I got one game for the Wii this month. I absolutely expect this to be terrible, but this turns out to be one of the rarest games on the system, and decided just to grab it for that purpose. This is one of the Maximum Family Games releases called, very generically, Rally Racer. I think they made like 10 games that were all some sort of racing theme, and they're all very difficult to find. This one seems to be probably one of the more difficult ones of that group to find. But like I say, I absolutely expect nothing of this. I'm sure it's complete shovelware, because there aren't even any licensed cars in it. So just an interesting find to get out in the wild. I got a couple of Game Boy and Game Boy Color cartridges. So the first one of these is Lemmings. Most of these early Lemmings games didn't really appeal to me, but I noticed that games developed by Ocean or published by Ocean are typically pretty hard to find on the Game Boy, so I decided to grab this one. I don't really know where I'm at with trying to collect for original Game Boy anymore. I got probably a little bit over halfway through. I think I have like 250 cartridges for it, but I'm just really losing interest in getting the rest, because they're all the really rare ones that I didn't have are just shooting up in price, and there's just so much common junk I don't even care about anymore. I got one game for Game Boy Color this month, and that is R-Type DX. I had the R-Type original Game Boy, so that's why I've been putting off getting this one, but I've heard some good things, and I figured this is probably worth trying. I'll probably check it out on my next trip. I got a couple games that were boxed that were for Game Boy systems. So I got Road Rash for the Game Boy Color. Not really a series I'm a huge fan of, but this was super cheap, so I couldn't pass it up. And then the one I was way more interested in was Final Fight 1 for Game Boy Advance. It was really funny. The day I found this, I was playing Final Fight on Sega CD, and I just thought it was like one of those super odd coincidences that I would find this nice, complete condition, you know, copy later in the day, so I had to grab it. Hopefully this one holds up. Sega CD version is probably my favorite version of Final Fight outside of like the arcade, and I don't know. I haven't really read much about this one, so we'll see how it is. As I showed you guys last month, I did get a PS4 Pro system, so I'm starting to still get some PS4 games. One game is still on like super mega turbo delay from England, and I'm a little frustrated with the vendor on that. Hoping to get that one very soon to show you that in the next video. But I did get one game that everybody probably has for the system by now, and that is Shovel Knight. I get it. It is fantastic. I played this for a few hours, and kind of want to go back and play this again after I end up shooting this video. It is very difficult, I will say that. Some of the platforming in this is definitely up there with the games it's making a tribute to. So definitely enjoy this game, and hopefully they'll make like a sequel to this at some point. So the rest of the stuff I got this month is just some box upgrades and or boxes and box upgrades. I got a very nice box for Spider-Man Return of the Sinister Six for NES, one of the horrible LJN Marvel licensed games for the NES. But I always thought this box art was pretty cool, so nice to get a nice box with this. Had the manual in there, the poster, registration card, all that good stuff. So I'm just going to sell off my old loose cart and keep this nice upgrade copy. Probably my biggest surprise of the month that I found locally, and this was, I'm guessing the highlight of this video, because there isn't a whole lot in it, was 2 games that I got the boxes and manuals for Super Nintendo that I didn't have. And I already had the cartridges for these, but these are 2 that I always wanted to own complete, and very happy to get these. So first one of these is the first Lufia game, and Lufia and the Fortress of Doom by Taito. Very cool artwork on this cover, and definitely like this series. And then, last but not least, is the sequel to that, which is Lufia 2, Rise of the Sinistrals. This one was published by Natsume, but I believe was still developed by Taito, I think. So, very cool to get these. It's a store that never has anything, so I was very surprised to see those on their shelf. Made the guy an offer on them, and he took it. So, very happy to get those. But yeah, like I said, very small month for pickups. Please take a moment, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. Hopefully I'll find some better stuff next month, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day or night, wherever you are.